can say I've seen people get engaged to our music. I've seen people break up to our music. I love people dancing. Subway shows, we've had people try to steal money from us. This guy was just drunk and he like tried to take a handful of cash and then we had to tackle him.
One day I was practicing, people started gathering around, they were smiling, you know, they were all looking at me, taking pictures, clapping their hands as I was playing. There was this great energy, and then they started putting dollar bills in the box. And at the end of the 10-minute intermission, there was as much money in the box as I was making at work that day. So that's when I was like, maybe I shouldn't be practicing in a remote corner of a parking lot. Maybe I should be practicing on the street.
Once we played, there was a woman who stripped completely naked, which was really, really bizarre. She started taking off all her clothes. She was like 60, and then all of a sudden she disappeared.
I came to New York to play for people. I remember I was here for a year and my friend said, we saw a busker. He's like, why don't you do that? And I'm like, you gotta get a permit, you gotta get up, you gotta submit something, and it's difficult. And I was like, that's too much work. He's like, well, are you gonna fucking play in your Brooklyn apartment to nobody forever? I was like, you know what, he's right. So I threw a band together and we put up a audition video for the Music of New York program. They said we had an audition in front of live judges, so I did it, and I couldn't believe we actually made it in.
So that's when I first ventured down into the subway. The acoustics in the New York City subway is amazing. Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, Madison Square Garden, I've played in all those places. Yeah, they have great acoustics, but the acoustics in the subway is better. People were just as nice as on the street. So basically I got addicted to busking. Even if I get to be a millionaire, even if I win the lottery or win an Oscar award, I would still want to play in the subway.
One good thing about playing in the subway is A, you reach a lot of people who not necessarily would see you otherwise. You reach like from kids to seniors. You get to play for a wide range of people. It's a good place to promote gigs when we play in the club. Another thing about the subway, I feel like it's a very direct feedback.
I'd rather play a subway show than a venue show, because at a venue show you got to deal with other bands who most likely suck. You have to deal with bookers, venue staff who just hate their job and they don't want to deal with you. At least in the subway, if people don't like you, they tell you. They'll sometimes verbally say you suck, or they'll roll their eyes, or they'll put their hands in their ears, but at least that's honest. And if there's anything I've learned about New York, it's honest. Try to people that have just worked a 10-hour day and just want to get home and you're in their way. If you can make them stop and take their earbuds out and listen to you, then you have something.
One of my goals is to bust the myth about buskers. There's this erroneous thought that people have that they think that buskers, we can't find a job, we're not good enough, and it's so not true. I don't play because I have to play in the street. I play in the street because I choose to play in the street. I love it. And it's not that I don't also play on stage, I do, but it's a totally different thing. You have to know how to project and how to engage people.
Coming to New York and kind of fulfilling this thing, this promise to myself that I'm going to play in front of people, whether they like it or not. It's strange now, 10 years later, we're a national touring band and we play international shows. Came from a small town in Pennsylvania. I go back and I play that small town every couple tours.
So we usually 6 people. One of the reasons for me was that even if someone doesn't show up, we still can play. And it's also like the bigger the sound, the more people you attract.
First drummer, he lasted for maybe 3 subway shows. You got to carry about 100 pounds of gear to the subway and then you have to play for 3 hours straight. I think our second show we made $3 in an hour and a half. And he was like, I can't do this. This isn't sustainable. And I said, did you see all those people that saw us? You know, and that was my currency. That was all I cared about.
It's all about creating an energy in the space, whether it's a street or a subway or a graveyard or a storefront window. It doesn't matter what the space is. You turn it into your living room.
We played some of these songs close to 3,000-4,000 times in the subway, and I still find them enjoyable. We're so far past the point of having to beg our friends to come to shows. We have demographics from all over coming to our shows.
Got a gig from playing in the subway to play at a wedding in Cairo. They flew us over to Egypt. played there that was pretty lavish.
I can't be more thankful that we've made an impact on some people's lives, even if it's small. They had a shitty day at whatever office job that I have no idea what they do up there other than like pick up 4 phones at a time and make deals or something. Like if they had a bad day doing that and we can make them feel a little better, we can make them forget it, then our job's done. This also is our job.
My advice for people who might think about wanting to become a busker is just go out and do it. Don't analyze too much. Don't think about it too much because you're gonna get scared, because it is a little strange setting up in the middle of the street. If you want to find me, sawlady.com, and also on Facebook.
You always can check us out at our webpage, undergroundhorns.com, undergroundhorns.com.
If I haven't bored you enough and you want to learn more, you can find us at ubreadraptors.com, Instagram, Twitter, Friendster, MySpace.
I said, ladies and gentlemen, first to life drummers. Yes. When I first started, my brothers, some of my brothers that I know, they was like, yo, this our line, this our train. I'm like, you don't own MTA.
One time I was at my house and my friend came over and he was like, man, he just lost his job. And he said, how about we go on the train and we start playing some music, maybe we can make some money that way. And within the first hour that I was on the train, I'd already make more money than I was working on a regular job within the hour.
The fondest memory I have is when I had the whole train singing along. It became a party and everybody was just enjoying themselves. I did a mixture of Mario, Hotline Bling, and when Hotline Bling came on, I wasn't even singing anymore. It was just the whole entire train was singing and rocking and they were dancing. I was inspired by watching other people perform on the train and they were happy.
This positive energy, man, and people love us, right? Right? You love us, right? See? I love you too. Yeah? You know how many fights we broke up on the train? We represent sunshine all the time. People say, how you doing? I tell them I'm shining.
I remember one time, this man, he was angry at the world and I came and played my guitar and he just stand up and was like, anybody want him to shut up? And I was like, he started cursing out at me and like, it's too early for that and stuff. And he's coming like to fight me and stuff and he's coming like really like come trying to hit me. And then a couple of people in the train others all stood up and they were like, yo, don't you dare touch him. So that made me realize that my music, you know, like what I'm doing is, you know, it's reaching people out there, you know. It's not only about the money, it's me going out there, trying out my songs, trying to see if I can reach people with certain messages. I find a lot of artists, they try to run to the mainstream and they are not really refined, and I feel that shit performing like brought out a lot of stuff inside of me.
One day we were just talking and somebody was like, yo, that show was fire. That shit was fresh. That shit was fresh to death. We was like, hold up. Fresh everything. We ain't really with that death shit. We don't do death. Life is beautiful, man. Say that again. What'd you say? Life is beautiful, man. No, say that again. Life is beautiful. We gotta flip that. We gotta flip that because we're not deaf. We life. And then we form fresh to life.
I just wanted to be sort of like an entrepreneur and be able to inspire people. And the trains was the absolute best training ground to hone your skills. It's like a gym. I listen to the things that I've done and to where I am now, and I can say that I improved, and I can thank the trains and the New York City subway system because these people don't come to see me.
If you're hearing the bird chirp, you're blessed. You should be smiling, walking around right now. You know how many deaf people in the world wish they were you right now? Can't hear. This is my love right here. I eat with this. I feed my children with this. I pay my rent with this. And I live my life with this. This is my life.
A lot of artists come out here feeling like, oh, people need to hear me. It's me. Your artistry is a tool to change people's perspectives or whatever. And if it's for those 2 minutes, you have to take them someplace. You may walk into a train and there's dancers or dancers walking on you and they just start dancing to the music and start dancing. And I never try to say this is my train like some of the other performers doing. It's a 12-part train. I could wait to the next stop or the next part perform and keep moving. I'm not here for the animosity. Just be humble and to be gracious, and you know what you give will return back to you.
I'm the type of musician that I don't play on the platforms. I actually went in the cuts because I wanted to be in front of an audience. I wanted an audience that was already there. So I actually went inside of the train cuts and I started playing. And I run into a lot of complications because I got arrested a couple of times because the cops, every time they see me with my guitar, I'll be like, "Officer, I'm just trying to make $1." And they're like, you gotta go somewhere else. And I was kind of stubborn at the time. And eventually I just realized that anytime I run into like authorities, I just have to just give them the respect, you know, that they deserve. And after a while, you know, they start bothering me to the point where now every time the officers see me, they want me to play even if they are in the train car, so they give me tips. And that never used to happen before, you know, so it came a long way.
I'll give you a quick story. So a guy came up to us. He was looking around. He was like, "Yo, man, I'm trying to get to." He's like, "We're trying to get Times Square. Oh, you can do this, and this." He's like, "Yo, do y'all talk about manners and respect on the train?" And I was like, "Yeah." Wow, what happened? He said, "Yo, I'm from a town in France, a little town in France, and some of my friends came back and talked about these guys who showed manners and respect and how y'all played y'all music and how much they loved it." I was like, "Wow." When you do good, it travels all over the world.
Challenges that you may face in the subway is what will inspire people to give you $1 or $20. How can you change the energy? You have to do it to figure it out. Some people are blessed with that voice or that talent. They don't even have to really struggle to find it. If you don't play something, you just sing it, you may have to come like me. I come with an iPod, audio equipment, and I come on, which is kind of rude. It can be rude. You know, people who had a hard day, they want to hear that. So you have to be able to have hard skin yourself. Even though you may have a bad car, the next car could be good. You may have a whole entire day that's horrible, but the next day could be good. So it's ups and downs. It's just like Wall Street.
I would say to anybody that's trying to do this, you gotta have no fear, you know? Forget you ignored me, you don't show me love. Because you know what? This one person, or that one person, is bright enough in all of y'all. So I'm grateful for that. Every car we walk in, we say hallelujah. Now I don't know what God everybody believe in. We study religion. Every religion says, treat the stranger the way you want to be treated.
The reason why I basically perform on the train instead of a platform is because you have a captured audience. And once the door closed, there's nowhere for them to go. They are forced to listen to me. I know it may sound wrong to some people, but when you're on the platform, as a friend of mine said, you're treated like a picture in a museum. Oh, that's nice. And they walk on. And if your livelihood depends on these dollars that come on, you can find yourself out here all day unless you have a niche for the platform. What I did on the platform, I could make it on one train. And I try to return the favor by giving them a nice show.
My website is eddiebellis.com. Everything is my name. If you're looking for me, it's Eddie Bellis, Instagram, Eddie Bellis on YouTube, Eddie Bellis on Facebook. And you can go to the website. It takes you to all of the music outlets and everything that I have online.
Tell me where you can find us at, man. Find us on Facebook. Facebook's Fresh to Life. That's Fresh the number two. The number two. LIFE. Instagram, we got that too. Fresh the number 2 Life. Drummers. Email. You don't got any of the other two? Fresh to Life.drummers at live. You always keep it live. Fresh to Life, baby. Avenue. Holla.
You can find me at bestmusictv.com.
I remember one time, and I'm playing, and everybody is running up to this dude, and they looking at him, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And it's Alec Baldwin. But at the time, I don't know who Alec Baldwin is. So I'm still just playing, and he comes up to me, and he was like, "Hey man, nice grooves going on." And I'm like, "Yeah man." I'm like, "Who are you?" And he was like, he said, "Of course you wouldn't know who I was. You're some fancy drummer." And I just started laughing like, "Yo, who is this man talking to me? I don't know him." But then after he told me his name, I looked him up, and I seen him, I'm like, "Oh wow." I just met this guy. He asked me for a business card. That's when I was first starting off. He asked me like, "You got any business cards?" And I was like, "Nah." And I was like, That was one of the worst and best moments in my life because I met somebody who was somebody, but it all fell apart. But it was just a great experience because now I stay with business cards.
the subway, it's scary, you know? I know New Yorkers are brutally honest, and I didn't know if I could handle people, you know, bothering me or criticizing me or ignoring me. But I think once you get into it, the more you do it, it seems you're just gonna have fun.
There are a lot of profound moments that I've had. There was one actually here, right underneath our feet. It was late at night, and there was this man who came down. It was maybe like 3 in the morning, and I was playing, and he came up, and he had a broken jaw. He had just been jumped, and he was bleeding out of his mouth, and he just pointed to his mouth and said, "Play this." So I started just playing a minor groove, and he started freestyling with a broken jaw, spitting blood on the platform, just getting his feelings out. It was like 10 minutes. He thanked me, and then I was like, "Yeah, and you should go to the hospital because you're bleeding out of your face." And actually, we've become friends.
The things that drew me to the subway was that I found out that you could perform in the subway. Where I'm from, you can't do that, you know? I'm from Niagara Falls, so when I heard that you could like play drums and no one bother you, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. It would just be hard for me to play because everybody's always complaining, and the fact that New York allowed us to come play here, that was my main reason. I started in the kitchen on some pots and pans at like 3 years old. My mom told me she just came in the kitchen, she just heard me banging. She's like, "What's all that noise, boy?" And she plays the drums, and she didn't expect me to play.
As an actor, I don't suffer from stage fright anymore, but you always have to think about like the audience is watching. And on a subway platform, it's like they don't really care who is doing what. They're on their way home, they're distracted by their phone, they're not listening, they're eating, they're drinking, whatever. So to be able to get people to watch you do that in the midst of all that, I think that's a beautiful challenge.
As you're maneuvering through this incredible metropolis, like underneath the ground, there's so much really incredible music.
What got me performing with my pops was he's getting older. That's how I can put that. He's getting older, and I'm there just to push him and to keep him going, and just to make sure that he stays on the right track. Because I love him, like, you know, it's my pops. I gotta make sure I stay on him. It's like I'm the parent and he's the kid.
So, I mean, there were a lot of different things that inspired me to first go to the subway, to continue practicing my craft and also be able to make money, which is wonderful. But it's also a lot more than that. I really love being in public spaces, and I think as much as possible having art be free is incredible. Some people have like 3 jobs and a family, and they're working really hard, and it's nice for them to just in the middle of their day be like, "Hey, I get to enjoy this."
To do subway performing, I think you just have to like leap into the net and trust that it will catch you. If you commit to your art and you're passionate about it, even if 50 people are like, "No, that's bullshit," another 50 people might be like, "Wow, that's amazing." I think it connects people. You know, like we connected randomly. You started beatboxing, I busted freestyle, and now look where we are.
I think the practice of going out in front of thousands of strangers every day and being as vulnerable as possible really has transformed the person that I am in a lot of ways.
You can find me on Instagram at DJLC_16, DJLC_16. You can also find me on Facebook at my name, Sizon Griffin.
You can find me on Facebook, Shakespeare Stage. I have my own theater company, casting agents. I'm an actor. Put me in your movie. You know, Netflix. What up? Me, I'm Pranoia Beatbox. You can find me on social media, PRENOIA. You may catch us at a subway station near you.
You can find me at theandrewartist.com, TheAndrewArtist. Also, I'm at The Andrew Artist with all the social media.